Welcome to another episode of Stories from the Edge of Life. We once again have a very special guest, Mr. Daniel Rojas. Welcome, Daniel.
Hi, hello. Thanks for having me here.
Daniel, would you mind introducing yourself to our audience?
Sure. And so my name is Daniel. I am 30 years old. I am from Costa Rica. I am a musician. I play the guitar. Um, and I really enjoyed life. I like to go out, hang out with friends. I like to swim. I like when I have time, I like to cook. So that's a little bit of myself.
Thank you. And I'm Parag Bharadwaj. I'm a hospice and palliative medicine physician in the US. And I had the honor of watching a performance of Mr. Rojas live. So uh, it was just amazing.
Thank you. That was a good night, I remember.
Yeah. So tell us about your musical journey. What got you interested in music and when, and what are the instruments that you play, and how did you get trained to play
So
them?
when I was a kid, I used to love to play football. I was like, but soccer, right? So I was playing football a lot, but suddenly a friend told me, "Hey, I will love to play the guitar," and I said, "No way, you're not gonna do that. I don't think so." So later we got into guitar lessons, and it was really interesting for me. So that's was when we started the journey. Actually, I was the guy who actually really learned to play the guitar. So from there, it's a long path. I moved to really serious guitar lessons with another teacher. Then he moved me to the university to study with him. Then I had the chance to go abroad, and I lived in China for about 3 years in Shanghai, next to Shanghai, Suzhou, it's called the city. And from there, I moved to Spain. I lived in Sevilla for about 1 year. So I did my master's, one master in China and another one in Spain. And it's been about 4 years since I moved back to Costa Rica, where I'm like performing. I am doing also teaching, and I do many different kinds of stuff. Music. It's always a big field because you have so many things to do. And I try to do a lot because I like to have different scenes to perform, to teach, to study music, so on.
Amazing. Now, just out of curiosity, the friend who introduced you to the idea of perhaps playing the guitar, does that friend still play the guitar, or it's just you?
No, actually, we were like four friends. So I was the only one who actually really learned to play the guitar. They did as well, but now I think they don't play guitar anymore. But I have another friend who was the guy who introduced me the guitar, who I'm always with contact with him. So we talk about music. He sent me a lot of albums, songs. So he's a really close friend of mine, and he was the one who introduced me to music. So for me, it's a really special person because we are still learning about music, which is, I believe, is fantastic.
But it sounds like you are the professional, right?
Well, now I am the professional, right? But a long time ago, he
Yeah,
was he
right.
was my teacher, right? Yes.
Okay, okay. All right. So tell us exactly which instrument you play and what genre of the music that you like to play.
Well, my foundation is classical guitar, but in Latin America, you have to play a little bit of everything. There are two ways One is you could specialize and do only one thing, or you rather do a lot of stuff, but you're not like a specialized. So I play classical guitar, but I also play electric guitar. So I play pop music, I play classical, I play a little bit of jazz. I like to do like Latin stuff. So there is a fusion of my music now. Now I love to play with other musicians with different styles. So sometimes I play with violin, other times I play with a singer, sometimes I do solo guitar. Um, Sometimes we have like a quartet of strings. So it depends, and I love to play different kinds of music. My favorite is folk music, exactly from Argentina. I love to play their songs, their music, because for me it's touching. I really enjoy those.
Great. Now, if you were to ask me, I've listened to your performance, and I would have guessed you like playing the Spanish guitar.
Yeah, well, because yeah, I have different guitars. That night I was playing like Spanish guitar, so I was doing pop, I was doing classical, I was doing jazz. So that's the idea, right? To get people involved with different repertoire, which I think is like when you have a buffet. So you have to get a little bit of this and also this. You have this drink, you have this dessert. That's for me music. But if you only have one main dish, sometimes it could be boring for people, right?
Very well put. Now, I thought the Spanish guitar was not actually a physical guitar. It was basically the type of music played on any guitar, or the Spanish guitar music is what I meant to say. Am I off? Because I'm a novice when it comes to music. Can you explain for the sake of our audience? Uh, is the
Yeah,
instrument itself different?
when you asked me like which instruments do I play, for instance, and I said, well, I'm gonna play guitar, but there are different types of guitar. So Spanish guitar is not only about music, it's also about the instrument. It doesn't matter sometimes how well you play, you need a different guitar because it has a different feeling, different sound, different touch, and actually it really helps. So yes, I have now like 7 guitars, and all of them have different target. So when we have this like Spanish guitar, you also need this kind of guitar because it helps through the whole show.
Got it. One of the fascinating things I got to hear was that you actually did your master's in China, and that was to learn the guitar. So that is a bit unusual, right? So when you think about learning the guitar, you China is not the place that comes to mind. Can you share with us how you got there and your time there in China?
When I was a kid, I always wanted to go abroad. I had this feeling. So when I was a teenager, this mixed with my music. So when I finished my bachelor degree, I got the chance to move to China. So it was perfect, to have the experience as a musician, as a person, to have a different culture, to meet different people, because I believe it was a lesson for my life beyond music, beyond my musical career. So it was a great experience. I got to try a lot of food, to meet a lot of people, to listen different languages. All this changed your life. And also I got the chance to travel a lot. I went to like more than 10 countries in Asia. I went to Malaysia, to India, to Myanmar, to Thailand, Hong Kong, and South Korea, Macau. I will travel a lot in China as well, performing, studying, sometimes teaching. So my experience, it was a really, really, really um, like a full package that you can ask for more, because that was a point when I start to really live life one day, day by day. So actually, it's my idea, but I also try to live in that way, because you have to live life in 100%. You never know what's going to happen tomorrow. So, and it was a great lesson, great school for me. It helps to music at the end. It's, you are a musician, but the person who you are, you show this to people with your music, performing, playing. That's how people will look at you when you are on stage.
Yeah, I did get the sense you've learned how to live in the moment. When I saw you perform, you were totally immersed in your music. And was there any particular experience that got you to that point? Because people spend their whole lives like trying to figure out how to live in the moment. And you mentioned early on that you are 30 years old. What cracked the code for you?
One of the points recently, I do teachings, but I like to connect with different arts. So we have some master classes with a teacher of theater. She's a theater from theater, so she's an actress. And we were talking about living the moment when you perform. You have to be on the moment, listening everything, watching everything, taking care of every detail, because that's how you will get the best out of you when you perform. So she was saying this, but in a different vocabulary. And I said to her, wait, we have the same idea in music or acting, but the point is living the moment. And you have to be with this, with everything. It's quite difficult because it's really challenging, but it's how you live life, because music is life and life is music. Is like a difficult paradox, because how you at the end you have to live life, because you have to live music, sorry, because you have to give 100%. And that's how people will say, oh yeah, you're a good musician, you're a good artist, I see how you give me your heart through music. And that's how people enjoy music. That's how, what I believe. You are mute.
Yeah, sorry. I was saying I can vouch for it because when I saw you perform, you were playing songs that I had heard before, and I was part of the audience, and we all felt that although these were songs that we had heard, there was something different about them, right? So, what is it? Do you intentionally know of what you do differently, or it's
Well,
just your signature?
no, recently, well, the last 4 years, which is like a different stage where I am. It's about performing, it's about gigs, but sometimes they're like commercial, because I play in hotels, I play in fancy restaurants, I played in like different venues. So I said, well, I have to do something different. I need to be, I need to try to give something special to people and say, okay, Daniel played the same music, but in a different way. What's gonna give? Okay, everybody can play this music, but what I'm gonna do different? So I start to play some music and I start to do some arrangements. The music I play are covers, but I do the arrangements. So it's like sort of my music in somehow, right? So I said people has to sing the melody, same as the original song. They have to understand the melody. That's the most important thing. When I see people singing, I say, okay, I'm playing good. That's good. But if people don't understand the melody, there's not a point because the audience is not understanding, right? So that's my main target. Play the good melody as the original. From there, you can do anything because it's in the second layer, on third layer. So you have different layers, but my target is always the melody. And from there, I can play with music. That's like my specialty. I don't know.
Uh, I hope you didn't take it personally, but I think it was a good thing that I didn't sing while you were playing. You would have lost lost your audience. Yeah, that was on a lighter note. Now you went to China. You spent all these years there, and then you also found some time to volunteer. You just mentioned earlier on that you had some time to volunteer. Could you just share how that experience was for you, and did it influence the kind of music you play or the depth you bring to your music?
So in my last year of university, I had the chance to record my first album. So there was a studio. So it was a great time because I was recording the album. I did the editing, the audio. I record myself. So it was a long process. So in China, everything is like modern. They're so it's so advanced for compared to Costa Rica, for instance. So I said, I'm not gonna sell my album. I won't sell like physical CDs. There's no point. So I want my music to be free. Everybody can listen this online, streaming, audio streaming. So I said, how can I connect this to make it not only artistic but also human? Is I want to clean my ego as an artist. Ego is something that you have to work a lot as a musician, as an artist, because it's not the most important thing is not about you, right? So I got I was looking for places to volunteer in China, in my city, in Suzhou. That city is 11 million people. It's really big. So I heard some places. So I connect with one orphanage. It was like 40 minutes, 30 minutes from my place. So I went there. So the kids, they had paralysis, they had problems with their body, so many things. And so they have this, and it's the orphanage. So I volunteered there. So it changed my life, the way I look life, because um, it was a really touching experience working with kids, spending time with them. So I was going to the orphanage once a week for about 2 months. So I said, okay, this is a beautiful project because we are going to raise funds, um, and they are going to build a sunroom because the kids, they can't move. They have so many difficulties that you have to take them to another room to get some sun. So it was really difficult for them because they were like more than 20 kids, a lot of kids, and the volunteers were just a few. So they had to build this room. So I raised funds and through my music, which at the end everything was well organized. So I did my concert. I did the opening concert for my album. So we raise funds. Like it's like WeChat. There is another platform. So we get the money online. People from the old city, different parts of China, and gave a lot of money. So we collect money for them. So that's how I did the volunteering in China. It was music, it was volunteering, it was money, it was time with kids.
Amazing. Now you also not only perform, you also are a composer. Can you shed some light on that aspect of your talent?
So during COVID time in Costa Rica, we all had to do something different, right? There was something that you never did before, right? So with composing, is language, right? But it's what are you gonna say that is somehow special or different? For a solo guitar, I always wanted to sound like myself, like it's Daniel, is my mark. I got a poem from a friend, and I said, wow, this really helps me to compose. So I did a first soloing piece, which I really enjoyed a lot. And from there, I had time, because you need a lot of time to think what are you gonna do, how you're gonna compose. So I did several pieces which are already written, because this also takes time how you make your music, because I perform but at the same time I compose, and at the same time you have to write the music. So it takes a lot of process, different process. um and yes, I have more music to record, to compose, but for now I'm doing like solo guitar compositions. I have some which I will perform, I hope so, soon.
Very nice. And you also teach students, which is great. So you are passing all your learnings to them. Now, what can we expect from you in the near future? Because we are going to share your, social media presence and anything that you're working on or a pet project that you have in mind.
Wow, it's everything about time, right? Because I want to do so many stuff, but I have to be calm and say, Daniel, take your time. You cannot do everything at the same time. But in the short term, I want to improve my piano skills. So that's one of my goals. I have to learn more about piano, which is my second instrument. I don't play a lot, but I know I can improve a lot. Also, I do teaching on music theory at the university, so I want to improve my skills. And in teaching, you have to do booklets, you have to do worksheets, you have to prepare your materials, and I want people to learn. So that's also the other part on teaching. And in the artistic field, this is a secret, but it's not gonna be a secret because I'm gonna share with you. But I want to do like special concerts with sound, eyes, and smell. So I want to have a full experience, not only about me playing guitar. We need to have different feelings. And I'm thinking, what's special in Costa Rica? What do we have in Costa Rica that is special? And I think coffee could be a great experience. So I want to have a venue where I perform, but we have coffee and you have the smell. You can share some candy to the audience. So it's gonna be like the road of coffee, la ruta del café, we call in Costa Rica. So I want to have music, some kind of music with a great sound system. So it's gonna be a full experience. It's like a concerts with the small venues, but with a full package of feelings, right? You have some arts, visual arts. I could have and some I don't know how you call bartenders, like the people who do the coffee. So I'm thinking about this. I have this idea because for the past 4 years I've been doing commercial gigs, but now I want to do like artistic again because for a long time I did a lot of art in different ways. So I want to go back to art, but with our special concerts.
Fascinating. And let us know when that happens, and we will definitely like to see how it goes.
Great, sure.
All right. So, last question. I just find musicians fascinating because they seem to very easily or easy a lot more easier than others when it comes to breaking the boundaries, right? Physical boundaries between countries. And so when you traveled so many countries in Asia, and other parts of the world, you've been to Spain and other places, well, and you've met people from around the world, what is the common theme when it that connects people with music from your perspective?
Well, it's a common theme in people. We all enjoy music at the end, right? We are all the same. Just it's just culture, it's just skin color, it's just things like that is just like a physical stuff. But inside, we are just the same people. It doesn't matter where are you, in which country, you come from. So it's everything up at the end. Humans, life, music, enjoyment. We are all the same. So that's like the bridge for all of us. Of course, when you have the music, which is an international language, is it doesn't matter. That's beautiful because how you can share the music with people. But we are the same people at the end.
Absolutely. And I think we couldn't have ended this or concluded this interview on a better note. So thank you very much. And we wish you all the best. And thank you for sharing your music with our audience. And also, we hope to have you back to hear what new developments have been happening in your life and your musical journey.
Thank you, Parag, for having me here. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.